the
I know,
tinfoil hat people,
yes.
where they'd be like,
Yo.
the government's trying to program your minds. The waves are
I
coming
get that
from
at
the radio
work.
set. It's interesting.
But he hasn't thrown a festival or anything. What's your purpose outside of just having a 9 to 5 and like doing this and like providing, like what's the impact or the legacy that you want to leave behind? The people that were that were pushing that and promoting that would not have been like assassinated. I feel like the government is always the type where they like to spoon feed you different things because they don't want you to be overwhelmed with like what's really happening outside in the world. And I feel like that's why the school curriculum teaches you about like Thanksgiving, but it doesn't teach you about like the real reason or the real thing that happened with like pilgrims coming and slaughtering Native Americans and stuff like that. Like it's being spoon fed certain things because you don't. I don't know. It's just like.
So I'll give my opinion on this because this is something I feel is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is a form of education, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a ton of institutions who dictate what other people should learn and consume.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I find is really kind of odd, right? So you also have the internet.
Yes.
And if someone knew, right? If someone knew. I mean, how hard is it to make something like viral like that? Because one of the things I found was really interesting was WikiLeaks. Remember WikiLeaks came out when they started showing people like us nuking, like just like destroying hospitals and just killing people, like civilians. Knowing that these are civilians in there, like dropping bombs on them.
Yep.
Like like that was crazy.
Yo, like, I mean, even with Reddit, you know what I mean? Like,
oh man,
bro, like there's just so many things that's just dehumanized us. So. That's kind of like in Twitter, and Twitter's like a whole thing in itself. So yeah, it's just like when you have those factors that come in, it creates like this chaos, and that's what it's been. You know what I mean? Like since the beginning of the internet, since you can be able to shoot videos on YouTube or just like, you know what I mean, have like 15 seconds of Vine. It's nothing but chaos. Like it's people thinking that they're seeing like UFOs when really it's just like something that's just like in the wind because they're at a rave or an event. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
But I also feel like there is something that's always been out there. It's just right now is just not the right time to come down to earth.
Someone figure this out. Someone has to know. That's the most interesting question.
Yo, they have people that know we're gonna find out soon.
No, we have to because he said right after this meeting. He didn't say like probably like 3 weeks from now.
Yeah,
no. Right after this meeting, and Miss Mace, unless if you find out 2 weeks from later, God forbid, I don't have she's like Miss Mace has passed in a tragic car accident. You know what I mean?
Not at all. She got sick. Yo.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
I'd be like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't think that's possible. I think a lot of times I hear people say like these big conspiracy theories, specifically with government trying to like control what people think. Yeah. I think that is a context, but I don't think it's that because the government has this evil agenda of trying to destroy people or like trying to make them like sheep or whatever. I think it's more of just like the government's trying to protect people from themselves. And when you do that, you can go too far, right? Like the whole kind of like seatbelt thing. Like you got to put on a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You're like, no, but you got to put on a seatbelt. And if you don't put on a seatbelt, we're going to fine you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, right? And then it's like, okay, but you got to put on a seatbelt and you're going to fine you and we're going to make your insurance go up. If you're like damn, dude, like, okay, like what is going on? It's like this
manipulation at some point.
Almost at a point where you're trying to shift the thought process behind something.
Yeah,
I was reading a really good book by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And in his book, he talks about sit in silence, right?
Yeah.
So he brings up like a moment. It's like, let's say you're driving and you hit a stoplight, right? Go into silence. Like literally like close your eyes and just like try to just, because there's so much noise around you. There's so much things, like all these things trying to tell you how to think, how to act, how to operate, how to conform, how to do this, right?
Talk to him.
Literally, take a seat.
Yes.
Sit in park, like literally, I don't park the car, but like stop the car.
Yes.
Light is red.
Yes.
Close your eyes and just try to enter the silence and take a breath.
Yeah.
Just take a breath, turn off the music, just go into silence, take a breath. He's like, don't worry. Don't worry about the light.
Bro.
Because someone's going to honk and let you know it's time to go.
Yeah, nah.
Someone's going to tell you. The system is going to get you to move.
Yes.
But when you have those moments you can get out of the system just for a second.
Yeah.
Just take a breath and realize like, hey, because and I really like the way his book stated. He's like, everything comes from silence. Right?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything. Like UFOs. They came from space. and it's silent out there. Okay?
Yes.
You know, like everything comes from silence. So like you have this sense of feeling like, you know, everything comes from nothing. This all comes from nothing, right? Either, you know, whether you believe in God or not, whatever the situation you want to have, it came from like something.
Yeah.
Like, something has started, right? But everything comes from nothing. So if you go back to nothing, you'll find life much easier, much simpler, that type of concept.
Right.
And so if this UFO situation is real, if this comes out to being like there's actual extraterrestrial people or things coming, you know, right? My question is that like it must be impossible to communicate. It has to be, right?
Right.
Because you can't even like.
I mean, but I mean, like, unless it was like what I was mentioning with the government spoon feeding, because they have information as far as like what's going on in connection and communication with them already. You know what I mean? Like that's a possibility too. And like you are right. I actually do spend 30 minutes sometimes a day in silence of just like not having any sound or anything going on. Sometimes like in my car, just like. So yeah, I feel you on that too.
It's utterly important.
Yes.
Not only for your mental space, your mental health, but I think it's this really good. It's a form of meditating, right?
Yeah.
Kind of just focusing on the breath. You know, just focus on the most simple thing.
Yeah.
Which is the breath, because there's so many things that can kind of get you caught up on life.
Yep.
So me and my team, shout outs to the homies, we were talking a lot about like what it is to be thinking, the thought process behind things, especially when it comes to the future and the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole kind of, again, UFO situation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history behind that. And you can there's a lot of like, you know, I want to call them crazy people, but tinfoil hat individuals, you know what I'm talking about. Don't do that to me, Johnny. You know what I'm talking about, bro. The tinfoil hat people, where they be like, you know, the government's trying to program your minds. The waves are coming from your radio set.
I get it at work. I already know what you're talking about.
The waves are coming for your brain and your children. Like, you know, like, whoa. I'm not saying that, you might be right, bro. You might be right.
Yeah, but I mean,
but what is it going to help you sitting there worrying about that? Look at your present moment of your life, right? Focusing on the future, what might happen, focusing on the past. He's like, look, focus on right now. What can you control about now? What can you do about now?
Yeah.
Right? And that's why I find this is the only time I never really bring up this UFO thing. I never talked about it.
Yeah.
Because this is interesting because it doesn't seem like he's fucking around.
No.
He's like, I'll tell you now. Like, there's no like, okay, well, after this hearing, because I ain't trying to like put people out on red. But but when she gets exposed, when she starts going down this rabbit hole, something's going to happen where she's not going to talk about it. I have a feeling. Something's going to happen where she's going to be like, I'm going to be like him now, not saying
anything.
You know what I'm talking about?
I that, yep.
Because they're just like, some things the public can't know. But why? Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Do you feel like it's ever important to if you were running, again, this is why I like talking about Travis Scott's thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to pivot to that, but I'll lead into it. Travis Scott's trying to put on something called Utopia.
Yes.
That word, utopia.
Yes.
Okay. It's a very, very, very loaded word, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Sarah, what's it? I mean, I could pull it up. What's the definition of utopia? Does anyone know? Chat, do you guys know? Shoot, let me see.
Yeah, I do not.
Definition of utopia. Obviously, I know the general understanding in my mind.
No place.
It says it doesn't exist.
Literally no place exists.
What? That can't be real, right? An imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect. Yeah. He coined the word utopia from the Greek utopos, meaning no place or nowhere. Interesting. It was a pun. The almost identical Greek word utopos means a good place. So at the very heart of the word, it is a vital question: can a perfect world ever be realized? I think that is the key question I wanted to ask here, because it's a bold word to use to have a show. Travis Scott, and his last, what was it? How long ago? He's done multiple.
Astroworld has been a minute, but he's done
other shows since then.
Yeah, he's done like a couple of shows since then.
Oh, okay. So my apologies.
Yeah,
but it's interesting.
But he hasn't thrown a festival or anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah.
But to say like to try to create a space that's like the perfect place. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've seen Travis Scott's music. His music it's on like the, I'm gonna say the darker side.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
Yes, it is.
So to say like that's the perfect place. As an artist, I'm curious, right? What do you feel like, what is the perfect place to you? what is this? What is the perfect place? Like, what is that? Right?
Yeah.
I know it's such a crazy question, but I have a feeling that like these aliens are not coming from the perfect place because obviously they can.
They're not dropping into the perfect place either, for sure.
So what is the perfect place? What do you think needs to change? Right?
Well, the perfect place definitely requires more just like understanding of history and where people grew up in the culture that's kind of just been adapted, or just like people just need to be more up to date as to like why people feel the way that they feel with certain things, but also just outside of like understanding, just wanting to like understanding that everybody is going through something, and that like, you know, everybody has their own like trauma, their own struggles, or their own like blessings that they bring to the table, right? So it's just more understanding, but also just more like wanting to do better, wanting to leave an impact on this earth. There's not a lot of people that like want to do anything outside of like for themselves and maybe their family, but it's just like, what's your purpose outside of just having a 9 to 5 and like doing this and like providing, like what's the impact or the legacy that you want to leave behind? You know what I mean? Like you can't take anything with you. So it's just more so, I don't know. The perfect place is and to me is just leaving it better than, you know, how you had it. And it takes a lot of effort, but it also takes a lot of just like understanding and being able to just like, I don't know, it being able to also attract like people or just situations to get you through that.
One of the things I find is hard is like, let's say for example, you have this environment or place that you're trying to create. Mm-hmm. You want it to be perfect. Mm-hmm. But the mere fact that you are trying to force your ideology on something is going to create a space that's essentially uneven. There's going to be resistance. Right? Because I think it's impossible to ever have a society that's completely 100% like just in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But every time you have these leaders, right, who talk about creating an environment of the perfect place,
right,
what ends up happening to the followers or the people is that it ends up shifting the dynamic.
Yeah.
Right? Where they catch on to that, where they say, you know what, I think we can. Mm-hmm. So there's only two options here. Mm-hmm. Either you conform to our kind of ideology, right, mm-hmm. of what is the perfect place.
Yeah.
Or we will destroy you.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Like, we will cleanse you from this earth.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Like, bro.
This is brutal.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how it's possible to ever create a perfect place.
Right. I don't either. Yeah.
You know?
I believe in bliss. I believe in creating a place that brings you the most happiness and the most like, you know what I mean, like peace.
Like carving out your piece of the land type of thing. Like this is my space.
Like your heaven on earth, or just like whatever. I believe in that, but like you are right. Like nothing is perfect, and the more like we're accepting of certain things like that, then the better that we can be able to just like understand and move. You know what I mean? But certain people are just.
So what's the flip side, right? Let's say, for example, you want to create the perfect place, but you understand that in order for me to do that, mm-hmm. like you mentioned, the government force educating individuals,
right.
force educating people. Like
right.
you need to think the way we think. You need to act the way we act. You need to operate the way we act. Right.
Right.
But you also have like that's kind of the either conform or get cleansed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what if the flip side is you let people be just kind of do whatever you want to do, as long as you don't affect or hurt me? Is that possible?
Not now. I
wouldn't say not now.
Yeah, but I think it's something that.
Do you think it's possible for a society to be able to get to, like everyone, to get to a point where kind of literally live and let live?
No. because if it were going to happen, if it would have happened or been close to happening, then like the people that were like that were pushing that and promoting that would not have been like assassinated or like, you know what I mean, like taken from this earth the way that they were as far as their untimely demise. So no, I don't feel like that is possible. I feel like it's probable, but it takes a lot. We're in such a dehumanized state. You can be able to find anything off the internet or just see some things that you may not want to see. You know what I mean? That's just gonna like, that may low-key traumatize you. So like it's too much of that, as well as like our own experiences and what we go through to like, I don't know. It's not right now is I don't see it, and I don't feel like it is a possibility, but I feel like if we have more outspoken leaders who are protected out here and they're doing their things, like, you know, it's, I forget his name. I think it's like Ben Crump. He's very outspoken.
Is he what is he?
He's black. He's an attorney, like a defense attorney.
Oh, cool. So he's like, okay.
Yeah. So like, but like just more just people that are AOC. I forget her name, but like she's very outspoken. She's young too. Like we need more leaders, more people who are just like willing to just like take that responsibility and not be afraid of like what the outcome or the consequence may be for being outspoken against like the things that they believe that the human beings are on this earth believe in. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna ask you a question. This is the whole premise of this. I was sneaking on you.
Yeah.
So, you have artists, right? Trying to create a utopia.
Yeah.
Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Is the spokesperson
of
the idea of what a utopia is.
Right.
I think sometimes people get kind of like, why are you taking it so literal, right? Or like, you know, he's just doing this for trying to create marketing. This is like a marketing thing. Which, hey, dude, look, do your thing. I'm not knocking him.
Right.
But I'm just talking about like, okay, well, what if he did do this, but he's trying to answer a question? Can you create a space that is a really cool space, right? Some of his other ventures didn't go as great,
right?
But some of them, it could get better, right?
Right.
In general, in theory, and that sort of
right,
stuff.
right.
So my question for you is: do you think it's possible, right? Or what do you think the artist's role is on creating a utopia?
To bring the art. If you're an artist and you're not bringing the art, you're not even like you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Outside, like. It's one thing to be inspired, right? And to like take a step back and like, you know, like take a break from it. But if you're an artist, you know what I mean? A part of you has the audacity to think that like what you provide is a part of the utopia. You know what I mean? Like,
it can make the world a better place.
It can make the world a better place. It's very, like, even if it's therapeutic towards you, it could bring healing towards other people. It could bring influence. You know what I mean? To, like, want to, like, do better for themselves. So you just have to bring the art. The art is a part of your utopia. And then that will attract, you know what I mean? Like, that will attract the tribe or the energy that you would need to continue to create that, or you know, well, to create that, but also like you're gonna experience just, I don't know, life is all about experiences. It's a duality too, you know what I mean? Like outside of the utopia, you're gonna have your struggles, you're gonna have your hell, you're gonna have your whatever, but that's what keeps you going towards like the bliss or your utopia.
Okay, so how we doing, Sarah? We Gucci? So one of the things I'm curious here, right? Is art? Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 scenarios.
Yes.
Okay. Is art perfect, imperfect, perfectly imperfect, or imperfectly perfect? We're gonna break that down one by one. Okay. Is art perfect? Is it like it is what it is. It should never be touched. It should be, right? Is art imperfect? There's things you could change. There's things you'll make it better, right? Is art perfectly imperfect, right? Like it's made to be imperfect. Like it's destined, it's fateful for this, right? Or is it imperfectly perfect, right? It is something that you wish you could make it better, but it is what it is, right? I don't know if I explained this right, Chad. Please don't kill me, okay? But I feel like that's a good synopsis of kind of what I'm trying to get, right?